According to the CDC, 61 million adults in the U.S. live with a disability. Of those individuals, 4.6 are vision impaired. So what's it like navigating the world without the gift of sight? Springfield local 28-year-old Carolyn McGhee is vision impaired. Here are some of her challenges.
I can see well enough to navigate, but as far as hazards on the ground, that's the main problem. You know, people need to understand, if you leave an obstacle here and walk away, you're creating a potential safety hazard for somebody. These are dangerous situations that aren't commonly thought about.
Equally important is treating those with disabilities fairly, like the valid individuals they are.
People don't even think about the fact that I or someone else who's blind or somebody using a wheelchair, they don't realize that we exist at all. People tend to treat people with disabilities and the elderly like helpless little kids. Let's say you've got a disabled person and a non-disabled person in a restaurant. There's a good possibility that the waiter or waitress is going to ask the non-disabled person, what does she want? Instead of talking directly to the person with a disability.
And the hardships continue. With services transitioning to online only, many things are difficult or impossible to access for those with vision impairment.
Given that more and more things like shopping and, food delivery and even job applications, the only option is online access. It's hard enough finding a job when you have a disability as it is. But if you can't even access the application, you don't have a chance.
Government programs provide assistance to those with disabilities, but according to McGee, those benefits can actually hinder them by implementing certain restricting regulations and limiting income.
It seems like an advantage on the surface, but there are so many things that keep a person with a disability basically in poverty.
And not only that, under a regulation called 14C of the Fair Labor Standards Act, businesses can apply for permits to pay disabled employees less than the federal minimum wage of $7.25 an hour. In some cases, these employees can be paid pocket change for a day's work.
It is legal to pay a person with a disability less than minimum wage.
Lastly, McGee has advice for those with vision impairment or any other disability.
Being vision impaired or blind is not the end of the world. You will learn skills over time. There are other people going through similar situations. There is a support network out there. There's no reason to fear being vision impaired, blind, deaf, or any other disability. And I think in some cases, there may be a reason why we can't see. I think those of us, especially those of us who are born blind, some of us are born to be advocates. And if we weren't born this way, we wouldn't be able to stand up for others who maybe don't have a voice.